Ara sat numbly on the bed, her eyes glued to the divorce papers Con had just tossed at her. The man's voice was ice cold. Ara, you'll carry the guilt of what you did to Chloe for the rest of your life. I was wrong about you. Sign it now. Her whole body trembled, eyes red and swollen, her voice choked with emotion as she cried out, I didn't push her. How many times do I have to tell you? But Kian was convinced. He had seen with his own eyes shoving Chloe down the stairs. He grabbed her wrist, squeezing so hard she thought her bones might snap. Chloe was my ex. Sure, but we broke up ages ago. Why are you still so jealous? I'm not. She tried to explain, but in his eyes, every word she said was just a pathetic lie. He'd made up his mind, and that was it. A dead person couldn't prove their innocence. Suddenly, laughed, a heart wrenching sound that tore through the room. Divorce? Fine by me. She sprang up and scrawled her signature on the paper. Kyon, I loved you for 10 years. Guess it was all just a bad joke. From now on, we go our separate ways. Kian glared at her. You think signing a piece of paper ends this? I'll make your entire family pay for what you did to Chloe. Ara froze, her face etched with shock. Isn't ruining me enough? My parents treated you like their own son. What has my family ever done to you? He grabbed her chin, his voice dripping with contempt. Nothing. Your family tricked me into this marriage and I went along with it. But Chloe was innocent and you took her life. With all your high and mighty airs, you're 1,000 times crueler than I am. His words hit her like a bucket of ice water, chilling her to the core. She looked at the man in front of her, so familiar yet so unrecognizable. Do you really think I'm that kind of person? He burst into laughter as if she'd told the funniest joke he'd ever heard, his eyes burning with hatred that threatened to swallow her whole. You're not even worth my attention. Stop deluding yourself, Ara. From today on, you'll pay for Chloe's death. Watching him walk away without looking back, Ara's heart sank into a freezing abyss. She whispered, her voice shattered by pain. Kian, what if one day you realize you've misunderstood me? Kian paused for a split second, a strange pang piercing his chest, but it was quickly replaced by cold resolve. For the rest of your life, Ara, you're the one who owes me. The next day, Ara was arrested on suspicion of murder. The only witness was Ken. As they led her away, tears streamed down her face. She glanced back one last time at the man behind her. My biggest mistake was loving you. Gian thought avenging Chloe would bring him satisfaction, but all he felt was an aching emptiness, as if a piece of his heart had been carved out. Life in prison was a living hell for Ara. 5 years of being bullied by other inmates pushed her to the brink of despair. Then one day she discovered she was pregnant with Kian's child. She endured 10 months of pregnancy and hardship, giving birth to a tiny life. As soon as she recovered, she had no choice but to entrust the baby to her brother, Ethan. 5 years later, she was released early for good behavior. When Ethan came to pick her up with her little boy, she hugged the child tightly, vowing never to be separated again. At 12 years old, had joked that she'd grow up and marry Khan. At 22, that dream came true. But who could have imagined that 5 years later, he'd be the one strangling her, forcing her to sign divorce papers and pay for Chloe's life. R jolted awake from a nightmare, her body drenched in cold sweat. The past was like a beast that never stopped stalking her, always striking when she was least prepared, forcing her to relive that shattering pain. Mom, another bad dream. Leo walked in with a glass of warm milk, his small frame carrying a maturity beyond his years. Want me to tell you a story? Uncle Ethan taught me a ton. The boy's intelligence always filled her with both guilt and heartache. She ruffled his hair. I haven't been spending enough time with you. Your uncle's been so good to you. It's the weekend tomorrow. How about we hit the amusement park with him? Leo's eyes lit up at the mention of the park. His face was a miniature version of Con's. But while Con's eyes were icy, Leo's were warm and gentle, sparkling like they held the entire night sky. Ara hugged her son tightly. Soaking in the warmth, she thought she'd lost forever. The next morning, as Leo ate breakfast at a diner, a news report on the TV caught her attention. Sources say Kian Croft, eldest son of the Croft family, will arrive in Azure City by month's end to collaborate with the Sterling Corporation. Both companies went public 5 years ago and have since become formidable financial powerhouses. Before the report could finish, Leo reached over and switched off the TV. He looked at his mom, his clear eyes flickering with a hint of unreadable curiosity. That man named Con. He's my dad, isn't he? All's heart clenched. How do you deal with a kid who's too smart for his own good? She thought absurdly. Is there a way to make him a little less sharp? While she panicked, Leo pinched his own cheeks. Mom, I saw that guy's face on the news. Now look at mine. Ara glanced at the uncanny resemblance between her son and Ken, a heavy weight settling in her chest. To make sure Keon doesn't try to whisk you away with him someday, maybe we should take an overseas trip for the holidays this year. Leo shook his head. Based on industry analysis, Mr. Croft's business network is massive. Even if we go abroad, he'd probably find us. R could only manage a weak laugh. You're too smart for me. After a moment of silence, Leo said softly, Mom, don't worry. I'm not going anywhere with him. Ara's eyes instantly welled up with tears. Why do you say that out of the blue? Leo looked at his mom, his face serious. I just want to be with you. I don't need anyone else, not even him. Ara couldn't hold back anymore and pulled her son into a tight hug. Promise me, okay? That afternoon at the entrance to the amusement park, Ethan told and Leo to hang tight while he went to buy tickets. Just then, a sleek luxury car glided past them. Kian's gaze swept over, then froze abruptly. He ordered the driver to pull over. The driver slammed on the brakes. Kian turned his head. Why did that figure look so familiar? Could it be her? His friend Jax leaned closer to look. Whoa, isn't that your ex-wife and that kid she's holding? Holy crap, he's your spitting image. Don't even try to deny it. That's got to be your kid. A storm of shock, anger, and an odd, uninvited joy twisted Kian's face into a terrifying mask. Ara dared to secretly have his child. He couldn't even tell which emotion was stronger. That evening, after dropping Leo off at home, Ethan had to rush back to his studio to meet a tight deadline. Ara called after him, Don't overdo it with work. Ethan teased, Taking care of you is hard enough already. I don't even have a girlfriend yet. Leo suddenly giggled. Uncle's an old bachelor. Ara quickly covered her son's mouth. Don't be naughty, don't say that, she whispered. But Ethan just laughed. This kid, be good and listen to your mom, all right? Leo nodded obediently. After Ethan left, gently asked, Did you have fun today? A blast, right? Leo chirped. So much fun. Just then the doorbell rang. Thinking it was Ethan forgetting something, Leo dashed to open the door. But when he saw the face on the other side, the boy's smile froze solid. Kian hadn't expected his own son to open the door. Over the past 5 years, he'd imagined reuniting with Ara thousands of times. He pictured her cold, distant, or still full of hatred. Never once did he think he'd meet his child first. Hey kid, it's your dad. Leo's heart lurched, his instinct screaming to slam the door shut. But Con was faster, blocking it with his hand and pushing his way inside. The moment saw him, her heart plummeted. Bone-deep fear and pain surged back, making her stagger. How did he find us? Is he here to take my son? He stepped forward. It's been a while. All bit her lips, staying silent. But Leo instantly spread his arms to shield his mom, his small face full of weariness. Mr. Croft, my mom and I are law-abiding citizens. Say what you need to say and leave. He grabbed Ara's hand and tugged. Mom, don't be scared. Let's just go to bed. As they turned to leave, Kian's angry voice cut through. Hold it. You're not going to explain this, kid. Ara froze. 5 years of pent-up anguish and pain bursting like a broken dam. She spun around, her voice choked with tears. Explain what? I was in prison for 5 years. Why can't you just leave me alone? Is someone with a criminal record like me worth your visit? He stepped closer, grabbing her arm. Don't assume you know what I'm thinking. When was the kid born? What's it to you? In prison, obviously. Why do you care if someone like me was pregnant? I'm not worth your attention, am I? Guess only Chloe ever was. Say her name, he roared. R struggled to pull her arm free. Let go! As she raised her wrist, a tangle of scars came into view before his eyes. Kian's pupils constricted in shock. Unable to hold back, he asked, "What happened? Where did those scars come from?" Seeing the shock on his face, Allah let out a bitter laugh. Isn't this the gift you gave me? Kian, I've endured enough of the pain you've caused. I'm begging you, just let me go. Kian's hand fell limp. His eyes filled with doubt. All lowered her head. Please leave. 5 years in prison had crushed every illusion she had. The eyes, once brimming with love, now held only shattered hatred. Not a trace of affection remained. He had wanted to cage her, to make her regret for the rest of her life. So, how did it come to this? Who had heard her in prison? Who had broken her proud spirit? A fierce fear gripped Kian, choking him. He was afraid he no longer understood the woman standing before him. They had lived together for 5 years, yet now she felt like a complete stranger. When she looked up, the hatred in his eyes surged like a raging tide. Get out. Kian finally left. Standing outside the door, he kept asking himself, how did she become like this? What had she gone through in those 5 years? His chest felt heavy. His hands clutching his collar, struggling to breathe as if being strangled. Inside, Alara leaned against the door frame, pain silently spreading across her face. Every suppressed emotion crashed over her like a tidal wave. The dark, hopeless day screamed in her ears, pulling her back into the abyss. Mom, want some milk? Leo's voice broke the silence. Ara nodded, pulling her son into a tight embrace. After a chaotic night, she hoped Kian would leave them alone. But the next afternoon, the unthinkable happened. Ethan called, his voice frantic. He couldn't find Leo at preschool. The principal said he'd been picked up by Kian. Ara clutched her shirt, her fingertips trembling. It's okay, don't be afraid. Cohn had stolen the last shred of trust she had. Now she would use everything she had left to fight him. Meanwhile, Kian held Leo's hand, leading him into the Croft family mansion. Kian's mother, Eleanor, froze for a second when she saw the boy, then asked gently, "Sweetheart, who are your parents?" She reached to hug Leo, but he deftly sidestepped. "You don't need to know who my mom is," Leo said, his voice clear but cold. "And I don't care who my dad is," he frowned. What's that supposed to mean? Exactly what I said. Leo's eyes showed no trace of fear. Elana stepped closer again. Is your mom doing okay? Leo dodged once more. Prison food's covered by the state, so my mom's never gone hungry. Ian's temper flared and he lifted Leo off the ground. Who taught you to talk like that, all sharp and prickly? Was it? Leo tilted his head back, unfazed. Everyone says it that my mom was in prison. In fact, you said it yourself in front of her yesterday. Kian's heart twisted. He set the boy down a bit roughly. Learned a few tricks from your mom and came here to give me a hard time, huh? If I'm bothering you, let me go, Leo said, brushing off the sleeve where Kian had grabbed him. If you think you can use me to threaten my mom, you're wrong. It'll just make us hate you more. Kian smirked inwardly. So, she really does hate me. And she's taught our son to hate me too. How did it come to this? This wasn't what he wanted. He slammed his fist against the door frame. Kian, stop it, Eleanor pleaded, grabbing her son's arm. Take care of the kid, Mom, Kian muttered, heading upstairs. Eleanor turned to Leo. Did he scare you? What's your name? My name's Leo. Mom says it means to hold on and hope. What a beautiful name. Eleanor sighed. Even if you compliment me, I'm not getting close to you. Leo said, my mom's coming to get me. I only want her. A wave of sadness surged in Eleanor's heart. The boy truly despised them. The next day, Alara strode into Kian's company building. She wore light makeup and low heels. It was peak office hours, and her presence drew every eye in the room. The receptionist froze, struck by her aura, and stammered after a moment. Can I help you, ma'am? Kyon Croft, Allar said, naming the man the entire company revered, her voice calm and steady. The receptionist hesitated. I'm sorry, you need an appointment to see Mr. Croft. Whispers erupted behind her. She's here for Croft. Look at her. Is she some secret mistress? I heard he only ever loved Chloe. So the whole company knew Kian loved Chloe. Only Ara had been foolish enough to think he might one day love her again. Allah took a deep breath and told the receptionist, just give him my name, he'll see me. Before the receptionist could ask for her name, a voice called out from behind. Hey, what are you doing here? Looking for corn? I'll take you up. All stepped into the elevator thanking Jax. No need to thank me, I've got business too. Besides, your family still holds shares here. It's not like you're sneaking in, you've done your homework on me. Allah said, her tone laced with sarcasm aimed at both him and herself. Too bad, those shares aren't mine anymore. Jax glanced at her, hesitating before asking, 5 years ago, did Kian put you in prison? Ara didn't answer, only offering a faint, hollow smile. Jax didn't press further. He just knew the Yar standing before him was nothing like the naive girl from years ago. The elevator stopped at the top floor. Jax knocked on the door. Kian says, come in. Kian saw Jax with someone else and teased, bringing a date to meetings now. But when he saw who was standing behind Jax, his face changed instantly. What are you doing here? All looked him straight in the eye. I'm here to pick up my son. He's my son too, Kian snapped back. No, he's my son, mine alone. She stared at Ken, her voice dripping with mockery. Didn't think you'd actually want to claim him. You doing okay, Mr. Croft? I thought you hated me to the core. Her words hit Kian like a punch to the face. The love she once had for him had turned into a balanced hatred. I've realized it doesn't matter if I'm innocent or not. What matters is you never gave me even a shred of trust. Don't tell me you're only now realizing there's an unpaid debt between us. A crack appeared in Kian's anger. He shot to his feet. Who taught you to talk like that? Ara met his gaze unflinching. You did with your own hands. Kian flinched. You snuffed out every last bit of love I had for you. She continued. What more do you want from me now? A flicker of emotion crossed Kian's face. Looking at the woman before him, he felt an odd sense of being lost. Allah's voice was almost pleading. I have nothing left to give you. You've already taken my family's fortune. I'm begging you. Can't you show me even a little mercy? Ian's throat tightened. Seeing her like this, frustration sprouted in his chest like wild weeds. He tugged at his collar, deliberately avoiding her eyes, and threw out a devilish offer. Want your son? Go entertain clients at Migo tonight. Ara's head snapped up, staring at him in disbelief. You want me to be an escort? Kian smirked. What? You want your kid but can't handle a little thing like that. Ar took a few steps back, shaking her head. You're even crueler than I thought. A strange sense of relief washed over Kian. He thought she'd refuse, but suddenly smiled. Fine, if Mr. Croft wants it that way, how can I say no? One night of entertaining for my son, I'd do it 1,000 times. She looked at Ken, her eyes heavy with weary despair. In her mind, her life had shattered long ago. Breaking a little more wouldn't matter. As Ara turned to leave, she glanced back, her voice devoid of emotion. Just try not to regret it. The door slammed shut. In the office, Kohn collapsed into his chair as if drained of all strength, his face dazed. She actually agreed. Kian let out a frustrated grunt. That evening, when he returned to the Croft mansion, Leo was standing alone at the front door. What are you doing out here? Leo looked up, his face expressionless. Waiting. From now on, I'll take care of you. Even your name will change, you'll take my last name. But Leo pulled his hand away. Mr. Croft, have you followed proper legal procedures? If you want custody, you'll have to beat my mom in court first. Kohn laughed. You're my son. What tests do we need? Why would I need procedures to raise my own kid? Leo narrowed his eyes. Mr. Croft, I was born after you divorced, so custody legally belongs to my mom. His pupils shrank. He couldn't believe his ears. What did you just say? A 5-year-old this sharp? Leo didn't flinch at his shock. Mr. Croft, if I wasn't your son, if I was some other man's child with my mom, would you still act this way? Kian's chest tightened, irritation surging within him. He looked away, his voice stiff. Don't talk nonsense. Any guy who dared touch your mom would be a dead man. Seeing his reaction, Leo gave a small smile. Mr. Croft, you'll never understand how we've lived these past 5 years. That's why I can't get close to you. He turned, staring into the distance. I'm waiting for my mom. You go ahead. Kian rubbed his temples, exhausted. Why doesn't anyone in this family give me a moment's peace? At 8 o'clock that evening, arrived at the entrance of Migo. She had styled her hair and wore an elegant yet sharp tweed outfit. At the same time, Kian stepped out of a luxury car. All looked at him, sadness welling up. From her teenage years until now, she had loved him for 15 years, suffering her whole life. Only now did she realize there was no going back. The price of this realization was her dignity and the shattered family. How did it come to this? Who was pulling the strings behind it all? While she was lost in thought, a drunken man staggered toward her. Hey, pretty lady, you alone? Want to hang with me? Ara's eyes turned ice cold, and she refused him flat out. But the man still reached to grab her. In the next second, a figure flashed by, seizing the man's wrist so hard it seemed his bones might snap. The man yelped in pain. Kian growled through clenched teeth. Get lost. The guy saw Kian's ferocious glare, muttered a curse under his breath, and scared off. Korn turned to Arara, his voice low. How long have you been waiting? Ara lowered her eyes, her long lashes casting shadows on her cheeks. Not long. 10 minutes? Kian studied her. Ara's posture was flawless, every detail perfect. But that very perfection made her feel like a stranger. Back then, she was always warm, generous, her eyes brimming with love for him. Now, those eyes held only an empty void. The pride that had been broken was long gone, swallowed whole, leaving nothing behind. Kian instinctively looked away, his tone curt as he told her to follow him upstairs. They took the elevator to the second floor, but at the door to the private room froze. Kian glanced down. What? Not going in? Lara stayed silent, her lips pressed tight. Kian smirked to himself. Good, there's still time to back out. Just as he thought that, Ara clenched her fists, pushed the door open, and stepped inside. The moment she entered, an older man whistled. Wow, this one's a knockout. Who brought her? From behind, Kian's lips curled. What do you think, Finch? Like her? Finch immediately pulled Ara to sit beside him. Kian, my man, you know me too well. How do you know she's exactly my type? Ara gritted her teeth, swallowing her disgust. Finch leaned close to her ear. Want to have some fun, sweetheart? Kian sat nearby, his fingers unconsciously tightening around his glass of whiskey. Next to him, Jax whispered, Kian, should I say something to Finch? No need, Kian said, cold as ice. He wanted to see how long could keep this up. Ara's brows furrowed, but she refused to back down. When Finch whispered in her ear, she gently pushed him away, flashing a dazzling smile. You're Mr. Finch, Mr. Croft's business partner, right? Finch's face fell. Hey, we're here to have fun, not talk shop. Kiss the vibe. So, it was him. Since Kian's goal was for her to entertain clients, all she had to do was keep Finch happy. With that in mind, turned to the room. I got here late, so I'll take a drink as a penalty first. Go easy on me when we play, okay? Finch laughed heartily. You're too cute. Ara smiled back, nestled in his arm, subtly using her glass to keep some distance. You're pretty charming yourself, Mr. Finch. Watching Alara flash a radiant smile at another man, Korn felt a strange fire ignite in his chest. He'd only brought her here to force her to give in, to make her beg him. Why was she being so stubborn? Jax glanced over and saw Kian's face radiating pure menace. He was really pissed now. Kon, you okay? He asked cautiously. Kian gritted his teeth, his eyes like daggers piercing. I don't care. Let her do whatever she wants. Yeah, as long as she finishes the job with Finch, who cares what happens to her, even if she ends up in bed with him? In the midst of his chaotic thoughts, the room erupted in tears. You lost. Give us a kiss. Korn's head snapped up just in time to see Finch leaning down to kiss. He roared. What the hell are you playing at? His shout silenced the entire room, but Arara just smiled. Want to join? Isn't this what you wanted, to see me humiliated? Why pretend to care now? Kian shot to his feet, spitting out two icy words. No thanks. But the anger had boiled up from the depths of his heart. He didn't even have time to question why he felt this way. In that split second, his mind was consumed by a single wild thought. Take her home. Lock her up. Don't let any other guy touch her again. She's mine, and anyone who tries will pay. Finch seemed oblivious to Kian's darkening expression. He picked up a strand of Ara's hair, bringing it to his nose and inhaling deeply. By the way, you haven't told me your name, sweetheart. At that, Arara froze, unsure how to respond. Seeing her face pale, Finch teased. What? You're not some secret Aries, are you? Don't scare me now. Ara quickly dropped her smile and stood, swaying slightly. I'm feeling a bit dizzy. Going to hit the restroom. I'll tell you when I'm back. Finch whistled. I'll be waiting, sweetheart. Ara stumbled into the bathroom. She braced herself against the sink. What was she supposed to say now? I'm Croft, the former Aries, now reduced to entertaining clients to survive. The dignity and strength she had painstakingly rebuilt would crumble into a cruel joke. Kian approached silently, unnoticed. The next second, she was slammed against the sink. She looked up, meeting his familiar, mocking gaze. He leaned down, his voice dripping with scorn. What? Gerald? I'll tell him who you are. His thumb grazed her red lips with undeniable force, then slid down to tilt her chin up. Why not push him away? If I hadn't stopped it, were you actually going to let Finch kiss you? Ara turned her face away, eyes lowered, silent. He didn't let her escape. He forced her chin higher. 5 years and you've lost all self-respect, huh? Suddenly, Ara laughed. She laughed as tears streamed down her face. What right do you have to judge me? Weren't you the one who brought me here? You told me to entertain, and I did. He gripped the back of her neck, pressing his forehead against hers. His hot breath burned her face. What if I told you to date him? Then I'd do it. In your eyes, I'm just a toy you can summon and discard, right? You don't care, so why should I? You brought me to a place like this. Did you think I wouldn't get harassed? She shoved him away, her voice trembling. You just wanted to see me humiliated, didn't you? Haven't seen enough. Disappointed yet? Her words ignited his fury. He slammed her against the cold wall, his searing lips crashing onto hers in a punishing kiss. He couldn't even explain it to himself. He should despise her, but seeing another man desire her filled him with rage, leaving only one thought. She's only for me to look at. Ara struggled fiercely. Just then, footsteps echoed outside the door. Kian gave a low, taunting chuckle. Go ahead, scream. Let everyone see how pathetic you are. Ara shoved him away hard, her voice breaking. Why do you keep tormenting me like this? What am I to you? A toy you can pick up and toss aside whenever you want. Wasn't 5 years ago enough? I've already paid too high a price. Why can't I ever escape you? She wiped her lips as if to erase the humiliation, then ran off without looking back. Kian stood frozen, his heart feeling squeezed. He didn't understand why seeing Alara in pain made his own chest ache with every beat. He must be crazy or drunk. Why else would he feel these forbidden emotions for the woman he was supposed to hate forever after 5 years? When returned to the private room, Finch was still waiting. The moment he saw her, he slung an arm around her shoulder, casual as an old lover. Kian walked in just then, his eyes darkening instantly. Finch leaned in to whisper, "Is there something going on between you and Kian?" All stiffened, unsure how he knew. She quickly regained her composure, flashing an innocent smile. "Mr. Finch, you're joking, right?" "There's nothing." But Finch wasn't easily fooled. "I saw Kian follow you right after you left," he said. All lowered her face, not responding further. Then, out of nowhere, she asked, "Mr. Finch, do you really want to know who I am?" Her serious tone made him pause. She said her name was Ara. The name splashed across headlines 5 years ago. The eyes accused of murder, Kian Croft's ex-wife. The truth hit Finch like a lightning bolt. He gaped. "You're kidding," Ara replied coldly. "What's there to kid about? I served 5 years in prison. Don't believe me? Look it up online, Mr. Finch." Finch's mind reeled. If this was true, was Kian's ex-wife. So why would Con bring his ex to entertain clients? He couldn't help asking, "Why did Kian tell you to come here?" All laughed, a mix of resignation and self-mockery. "We're divorced. You don't need to think of me as anything to Ken." Exactly. She had never been anything to Ken. Not 5 years ago and not now. There had never been a place for her in his heart. Before she could finish, Kian strode over. In front of the stunned room, he hoisted over his shoulder. The sudden move sent her into a panic, thrashing and shouting, "Kenne, what are you doing? Put me down." Her voice was a mix of fear, anger, and a deep, unspoken sense of betrayal. Ken only smirked, his voice thick with jealousy and possessiveness. "Put you down so you can keep flirting with other guys?" Finch, standing dumbfounded on the sidelines, stammered, "Ken, calm down and talk it out. Don't do anything crazy." Guan ignored him, turning to Finch. "Sorry, Finch. Tonight, she's mine. We'll catch up later." Finch jumped up. "Kian, you jerk. You bring a girl here and then steal her for yourself." Allah's face flushed red. Being carried like a sack in front of everyone was utterly humiliating. "Kon, put me down." "What if I don't?" Ken said, hauling her out of the room without a glance at the gaping crowd. The jolt made dizzy. Humiliation and rage boiled over. "Let me go!" Ken only mocked her. "Nice one. Quite the vocabulary. That Ivy League education wasn't wasted. You're the one who told me to entertain clients and now you're changing your mind. Let someone else take me home. I spent 5 years in prison because of you. You bastard. What more do you want?" Her words silenced the room. She was Croft, the once glamorous heiress imprisoned 5 years ago. All let out a tearful, hollow laugh. "Ken, you've left me with quite a reputation." She didn't want to cry, but fate was cruel. Just when she thought she'd escaped, another blow reminded her she'd never outrun this shadow. "Haven't you humiliated me enough? Put me down." R thrashed on his shoulder, but Con was unrelenting. "Stay still." Before he could finish, a dull thud sounded. Ara went silent. Panic gripped Con's chest. He quickly lowered her, pulling her into his arms, calling her name repeatedly, but she didn't respond. In the quiet hospital room, Ara slowly opened her eyes, looking around in a daze. Seeing her silence, Kian knew she didn't want to talk. He spoke first, his voice stiff. "You awake?" R shot him a cold glance, saying nothing. Kian sat beside the bed. "What? Still mad at me? I saved you tonight, you know." Ara reacted as if she'd heard the lamest joke in the world. "Oh, I should thank you. You ruined my life 5 years ago, and now you're finding new ways to humiliate me. I must have done something truly awful in a past life to be destroyed by you so thoroughly." Her words cut into his heart like a knife. He leaned closer. "You're still trying to justify yourself." Chloe's death. "What if Chloe's death had nothing to do with me?" Interrupted. "Ken, just answer me one thing. If it really wasn't me, could you ever repay the debt you owe me in this lifetime?" Kian's pupils shrank. He stared at her full of doubt. "Impossible. I saw Chloe get pushed with my own eyes. It was you, Ara." But as looked straight at him, her eyes, once filled with love, were now empty, desolate. All her feelings had been devoured by the hatred from 5 years ago. "Con, I don't hate you, because now I just feel sorry for you. Whether I hate you or not, doesn't even matter anymore. Her words shocked him, igniting his anger. Stop pretending you're innocent. If you had something to say, you should have said it 5 years ago. Have you ever given me a chance to speak? Ara's voice was choked, exhausted. No, you never believed a single word I said. I was your wife for 5 years and you never cared about me. Kon, if you didn't love me, why did you marry me? Do you think you did right by me? By Chloe? Kon finally lost his composure. You climbed into my bed. That's the only reason I married you. Ara slowly lowered her head, her hair hiding her face. So that's how you see me. You've really forgotten everything. Love is useless and longing is a joke. Kian, everything I ever did for you was a waste. If I could do it all over, I'd choose to never have met you. She pointed at the door, screaming, "Get out!" Seeing her, Ken was stunned by her raw ferocity. The commotion brought nurses rushing in. Khan was pushed out as they restrained Ara, a needle with sedative piercing her arm. She went limp, passing out again. He didn't understand what was wrong with her. In his days, he remembered the jagged scars on her right arm. What had broken her so badly she'd hurt herself? When had she become like this? What had she endured in prison? The head doctor approached, handing him a report. Mr. Croft, your wife's condition isn't good. She's suffering from severe depression, likely from serious psychological trauma. Has anything happened between you two recently? Kian gripped the report tightly, his knuckles turning white. No, he replied, his voice flat. The doctor sighed. Medication alone won't be enough. According to her records, she hasn't been cooperative with treatment. She needs long-term care. Do you know? Seeing his blank look, the doctor continued. I suggest you find out. Her condition is severe. Did you know the scars on her arm are new ones, layered over old ones? The most recent is from 2 weeks ago, so she'd been hurting herself. Kian's throat tightened. An unnamed emotion clogged his chest, making it almost impossible to face her. But she killed Chloe. He should be glad to see her like this, right? So why didn't he feel the slightest bit satisfied? Kian, I want you to investigate everything that happened to Ara during her 5 years in prison. I suspect someone impersonated me to harm her. After was admitted to the hospital, Kian brought their son to visit. But the first thing Leo said was, Mr. Croft, is my mom sick again? Suddenly Leo squirmed, demanding to see his mom. Con frowned, his voice stern. Call me dad or you don't get to see her. Leo hesitated for a long moment before mumbling, Dad. You'll get used to it. I'm your father after all. What's wrong with calling me that? But the boy lowered his head, murmuring, But I'm 5 years old. For 5 years, you never once cared about me. Your mom hid you too well, Kian said helplessly. I only just found out you existed. Leo's head snapped up. What about when mom was pregnant? Don't tell me you didn't know that either. The question left Cone stunned. He couldn't answer. If he'd known that was carrying his child, he might not have sent her to prison. Facing Leo's gaze, Kian felt a pang of guilt and changed the subject. Enough about that. Your mom's not doing well. I want you to comfort her. Leo lowered his head, his voice soft. Okay, mom's really sick. She's usually fine, but anything related to you makes her worse. Anything related to me? The words hit Kian like a slap in the face. So in mind, he'd become a monster to be avoided at all costs. She couldn't bear anything tied to him. Hospital room, door creaked open. Leo immediately saw Ara lying there. Mom, he called softly. Ara's eyes fluttered open. Her face was pale and gaunt, but the moment she saw Leo, her eyes lit up. Lo, my love, what are you doing here? Leo rushed forward, curling up in his mother's arms. Are you sad again, Mom? Allah held him tightly, her voice trembling with an apology. I'm so sorry, baby. Did I scare you again? Leo quickly shook his head, saying it was okay. You won't do it again, repeated, as long as you're back with me. But Leo suddenly glanced at the door. Mom, he picked me up today. I know you don't like it, but he really is my dad. No, he's not. Ara's voice was panicked. Leo looked up at his frail mother. I don't like him either, but having a dad feels kind of safe. But if you don't want to get back with him, I won't push you. Whatever you choose, I'll follow. Hearing her son speak so maturely for his age, tears finally fell. Leo, I'm not scared anymore. Let's go home and live with Uncle Ethan. Okay. Leo nodded, his eyes full of determination. When he fell asleep, Leo slipped outside. Kian was waiting. How's your mom doing? She's okay, Leo said, then hesitated before using the new term. Dad, when mom gets better, I have one condition. You have to let us go back to our family. Mom's not as sad as she used to be. Kian frowned. Back to that rundown place? You want to keep living like drifters? Leo's face darkened. If it weren't for me, would you even care if mom lived or died? The question staying together would only cause pain. I'm best off living with mom. You can visit me anytime. I'll talk to mom about it. Think it over, Dad. Ken felt a pang in his chest. How was a 5-year-old so perceptive? The boy's maturity stabbed at his heart. But this was his son, a Croft. He couldn't let him suffer out there. He had to be raised in the family. In the days that followed, Kian brought Leo to the hospital to visit Ara. Perhaps because of her son, Ara's spirits visibly improved. She was slowly emerging from a depression, though her eyes still burnt with hatred whenever she looked at Cone. This isn't a cold. One dose won't fix it. For a rare moment, acted playful. Ethan, look at me. Exactly. When she saw Kyo, she panicked, lost control. That man had hurt her so deeply that she was trapped in his shadow, afflicted with an incurable disease called memory. Ara took a deep breath, her eyes hardening with resolve. I need a new life, a fresh start. Even with this illness, I'll fight this fear. Meanwhile, in a luxury car park a block away, are you stalking your ex-wife? Kian shot Miles a sharp look. One more word and I'll throw you out. Miles just grinned widely. You've been awfully concerned about her lately. What? Finally falling for your ex? Kian cleared his throat, dodging the question. I need you to do something for me today. Not long after, an unexpected visitor arrived at studio. Miles accepted the coffee she offered and got straight to the point. He handed her a business card. Miss, are you the designer Dhamma? Sorry, no. Ara denied immediately. Don't be so quick to say no, Miles interrupted. My company is launching a spring wedding dress line and we'd be honored to collaborate with you. But shook her head. Sorry, I'm not Dhamma and I don't want to design wedding dresses. I don't believe in love anymore, so I can't create. Please leave. Miles nodded, not pushing. I understand, but mother, I hope you'll reconsider. Even if you've been hurt, wounds need sunlight to heal. Your talent is yours. No one can take it away. I believe in you. Froze, looking up at Miles's encouraging gaze, he stood up. I'll get going. If you change your mind, call me anytime. Our design team would love to work with you. Thanks for the coffee. It's great. Leaving studio, Miles headed straight to the black car parked by the curb. As he slid into the passenger seat, Con asked, Well? Miles shook his head. She refused. I figured, Kian muttered. Seeing Con's distracted look, Miles raised an eyebrow. Why not ask her yourself? Why send me? Kian's grip tightened on the steering wheel. If I went, she'd rather die than accept the help. Miles smirked slightly. True. She'd probably rather see me than you. Kian shot him a deadly glare. Looking to get yourself killed? Miles raised his hands in surrender. Wah, don't get so heated. I'm helping you make money, and this is the thanks I get? His voice turned serious. But really, if you care about her so much, why'd you throw her in prison 5 years ago? Miles was right. She was supposed to be the person he hated most. So why was he trying so hard to help her? After a long silence, Kian's voice came out. Because she killed Chloe. And Chloe was pregnant at the time. But it turns out, too, you didn't know, Miles pointed out, his tone dripping with sarcasm. The implication was clear. For his mistress, Kian had locked up his pregnant wife. Seeing the car suddenly speed up, Miles smirked. What hit a nerve? Kian gritted his teeth. I've been too easy on you. I'll call your grandpa and spill all about your little flings. Now it was Miles' turn to panic. Kian, that's low. What kind of friend are you? Who said I'm your friend? Finally, Kian dropped Miles off at home. As soon as he got there, his phone rang. A clear young voice came through. Dad, it's me. Kian's tone softened instantly. Leo, what's up? Leo spoke like a tiny adult. Dad, did you see mom today? Kian's heart skipped a beat. Why do you ask? Your mom said someone recognized her as Dama and wanted to hire her. I know you sent that person, right? He's definitely my son, Kian thought. Got my instincts. Yeah, Kian admitted, I wanted to help your mom. But why only now? Leo pressed. If it's because you feel guilty about the last 5 years, we'll take it. But if it's just pity, we don't need it. Kian's heart sank. Did your mom tell you to say that? No, Leo replied from the other end. I thought of it myself. Mom doesn't know I'm calling you, Kian. I just want to help you and your mom. Why won't you let me? I don't need a better life, Leo said. If you don't have feelings for my mom, please don't bother us anymore. But thanks for thinking of us. With that, he hung up. Kian stared at the dark screen, dazed. A wave of panic rose within him. He felt like he was losing both and Leo. Meanwhile, after Miles left, sat alone in her studio. Seeing her glum expression, Ethan walked over and ruffled her hair. What's on your mind? Ara looked up, her eyes full of hesitation. I'm thinking maybe I should take his offer. Ara, if you don't want to, don't force yourself, Ethan said, but shook her head, her gaze clear and resolute. No, I think he's right. Some scars need sunlight to heal. The pain Kian caused. Maybe it doesn't hurt as much as it used to. That afternoon, as I stepped into the appointed lobby, a receptionist spoke up. You're Mara, right? Please follow me this way. Ara froze, surprised someone was waiting for her. She nodded and followed, but when the door to the private room opened, she stopped dead in her tracks. Kian lounged on a luxurious sofa, exuding a cold, aristocratic air. His handsome face was shadowed by an icy distance. I'm the one who sent Miles to see you. Sit down and let's talk. There's nothing to talk about. Ara suppressed her shock, her face hardening as she turned to leave. But Kian's cold laugh stopped her. Are you that scared of me now? Where's the confident, talented designer from 5 years ago? His words stabbed at her pride, forcing her to stay. Finally, she sat across from him. What do you want? Looking at the woman before him, Cohn realized this was the first time in 5 years they'd faced each other so calmly. Ara was no longer the girl who loved him unconditionally, and he wasn't the same Ken either. He regained his composure and laid out his terms. Let's make a deal. I'll provide orders and connections for your studio. In return, the Croft family will raise Leo. You can visit him anytime, but his life is our responsibility from now on. All rejected it instantly. No need. My brother and I can take care of him. But Kian only smirked. You really want to go up against me? One phone call and I can have you and your brother out on the streets. Leo would be sleeping on the sidewalk with you. Ara's head snapped up, her eyes blazing with anger and accusation. You're using my son to threaten me. Don't flatter yourself, Ara, he said coldly. I'm not threatening. I'm just taking back my son. This is the gentle way. If I used force, do you think you could stop me? His words cut into her heart like a knife. Her eyes reened, her voice choked with bitter resentment. Kian, you're heartless. Have you ever considered that Leo is my son too? Why do you get to take whatever you want while I'm left to just endure? Seeing the tears welling in her eyes, Kian felt a strange jolt. An unfamiliar emotion flickered through him. It had been happening more often since Ara came back, as if the walls he'd built up over the years were finally starting to crumble. You want to talk reason with me, Ara? Don't you find that laughable? He's a Croft. You've never had a say in his future. All gave a sorrowful laugh. Maybe not, but I raised him for 5 years. You didn't lift a finger. So you want money? Ken said, his voice dripping with contempt as if he'd seen right through her. 5 million. Call it payment for raising Leo. If you want cash, just say so. Don't pretend to be noble. His scornful gaze clearly branded her as the kind of woman who'd sell her own son for money. All stayed silent, staring at Cohn. After a long moment, she laughed, a broken sound that was almost dizzying. Since you're so eager to compensate, I'll assume it's your guilty conscience. 5 million wired to my account by tomorrow. Free money? Who'd say no? Her smile vanished as quickly as it appeared, her eyes flashing with cold defiance. 5 million's a bit cheap though. I thought a man like Mr. Croft would shell out billions for his son. I was ready for 9 figures and you offer just 5 million? She clicked her tongue in mock disappointment. As she expected, Kian's face darkened. Alara, you? You're that kind of woman? What kind of woman? She cut in. Careful, Mr. Croft. You might fall for me. She smirked inwardly. If he already thought that of her, she'd play the part. From now on, there was only old hatred between them. No trace of affection left. She straightened her back and stood. If there's nothing else, I'm leaving. The next morning, Alara jolted awake from a nightmare, murmuring, "Don't take my son." Leo, beside her, immediately handed her a glass of water. Mom, another bad dream. Take your meds, it'll help. Ara ruffled his hair, her voice weary. I'm sorry, baby, I made you worry again. The boy snuggled closer. Don't be scared, Mom. Uncle Ethan and I will always be here for you. Ara's hands trembled. I won't ever leave you either, she promised. Leo looked up at her, his clear eyes reminding her of the first time she met Cone, the arrogant, popular college guy. His tie loosened with a carefree attitude. How had the man she once loved so deeply become the cruel person he was today? Mom, is Dad giving you a hard time again? Leo's voice snapped her out of her thoughts. Seeing her son's cautious expression, heart softened. She told him the truth. Kian wanted him to live at the Croft family mansion. Leo wasn't surprised. He smoothed his messy hair. You said no, right, Mom? All gave a strained smile. Yeah, your dad even offered us lot of money. Don't be sad about me, okay? Leo said quickly. Heavy money is great. We can go on a trip with Uncle Ethan. All nodded with a smile, hiding her real fear. She knew her ties with Cone weren't over. The 5 million was probably just the opening act in his plan to humiliate her. She hugged her son tightly, comforting both him and herself. Leo, I won't let anyone take you away. Later, headed to her studio. As soon as she walked in, Ethan greeted her with a grimace. Ayla, bad news. All our studio's contracts got cancelled out of nowhere. Ara froze. What? How did this happen? Simple. We pissed someone off, Ethan said. His words made everything click for Arara. It had to be Ken. He was using his power to show her how easily he could destroy their livelihood. His goal was clear. Force her to hand over Leo. She clenched her fists, her resolve hardening. No matter what, she wouldn't give her son to that man. She was Dama, a name respected in the design world. She wouldn't be blacklisted so easily. Someone would be willing to help. Ethan looked at his sister's defiant stance and side-eyed. He knew how stubborn she could be. She'd fight even in the darkest moments, but he didn't know how long they could hold out. Meanwhile, in the CEO's office at Croft Enterprises, an assistant reported respectfully, 3 more companies have officially cancelled their contracts with Miss Allah's studio. What was ours reaction? Kian asked calmly. She didn't react at all, the assistant replied, then added, after the cancellations, they didn't sue for breach of contract or make any complaints. Kian's eyes flashed with anger. The business had completely stalled, effectively blacklisted by the industry. A death sentence for any studio. How could stay so calm? It seemed she was determined to fight him to the end. A cold smile flickered across his lips. If she wanted a battle, he'd give her one. He'd see how long she could hold out.